Hey, join me for a little coffee and some experiments. So this is K1 serial number 602, which makes it pretty early in the line because I think they go up into the at least 4,000 or 5,000s, I'm not sure. So here's the story we have. If we look at the bands, let me get up to where something looks like an even number like that. So we have 21, 7, 10, 14, so that's our 4-band radio. The problem is that it looks like if I go to the bottom of the VFO range, we're going to write them down and see. So we'll start here. We're getting 6997.7 and 991.9. Let's do that again. 991.9, all right. And 13, 991.6, and 20, 989.9. So the closest one to being at the bottom of the band edge is 40 meters. So let's take that one up to 700 and see what that looks like. And so I'm trying to answer a few questions today. One is, how wide is the tuning range on this thing, because it seems quite sharp? And then, is it too narrow or is it too wide, meaning can I scan with my thumb, or am I going to pass stations all the time? And then, am I missing any of the range that I could get on the high end if I raise the VFO up a little bit? And then let's see, I was trying to think, because we subtract the VFO from the mixer frequency. The lower the VFO goes, the higher the frequency goes. So that'd be like if we take 15 in and we're at 3, we get 12. But if I take 15 in and I get 2, I get 13, so I go up. So that means, I think, if I compress the VFO, which makes the frequency go higher, I'm going to lower the frequency. So we're going to take that into account when we get there. So I think that's our first measurement. So we're going to go next to what the minimum is for 40 meters. That's here, 6997. We're going to take it up to 7. And we'll call that good enough, because I'm not going to run right to the edge anyway. All right, then we'll see what we get. So that's 7000, 9, 4.1, 13, 993.8, and 20, 992. So we're not missing too much of any of the bands, and we're getting to the bottom of the 40-meter band. So that can be the minimum frequency. So then, I think the easiest is maybe squeeze. We want to go higher in frequency, so we want the VFO to go lower. And we want to go up by the difference between those two, which is a 2-point-something kilohertz. So let's pull off the lid and see if, I can't remember in this radio, I guess you get the clue here, there's a speaker in the way. So this isn't perfect, because we have to pull out the KBT1 and the speaker to get to the VFO. And the difficulty in this is, when we pull out the KBT1, the VFO is gonna, I think, go down in frequency, because it's got a piece of metal sitting on top of it. But what we'll do is we'll move the VFO relative once we get there, and see if that works. So I'm going to pull that off to the side, I guess. Somebody got this very tight, and no extra wires here. So I can kind of fold that over the back. All right, so you can still see the VFO. Now if we go down to the bottom, that's 20. Let's see, we'll go back to 7. Oops. All right, so we're at 6998. So by taking the VFO out, we're at 6998.5. So we went up almost a kilohertz. So we need to get from, we'll get our math out for you here. All right, so we're going to take 70000 minus 6997.7 equals that. So we're going to go up 2.3 kilohertz, which you know already. 2.3 kilohertz up, and now we are at 6998.5. Does that make sense? No, I don't think that made sense. Anyway, we'll go up 2.3 kilohertz. So I think I can push those together. No, I need to go down 2.3 kilohertz, and I just said that. So we're going to go down a little by opening up the VFO turns, so that's right there. I'm just going to pull it open a bit. That made some change. So now we're at 6989. And if I put the VFO back in, let's see what we get. See if it's a repeatable change. Oh, this thing is very tight. Extra credit for making the wires just barely long enough to reach. Let's see, I guess this way, and then this way. Then the cover, just for good measure. So it seems to me that we are now at 6989. So we went the wrong way. Well, if at any point this gets too long, you can skip ahead. Sorry about that. Now we're at 7009. And you can watch this just for the heck of it. See, that goes from 7009 to 8. So we need to go up a bit more. We're compressing now, by the way. I'll probably overshoot. Definitely an exact science. So now we're at 7014 on the bottom. It moves pretty fast. If you can't tell, even when you know which direction you want to go, it doesn't really go in a controlled way. It moves pretty fast. So let's see here. So we're at 998.3. Let's go up a couple. That's at 99. That's a little annoying. It's passing it every time. What is that going to do? That might be about as close as we're going to get. So now we're at 6999.1. I think I can live with 900 hertz. without blowing past the band edge. So let me try that and see what we get. All right, that looks pretty fair. Let's not pinch any wires. We'll put in a thumb screw. Without cross-threading it. All right, now get some feet under us. That's pretty fair. So we're now at 6999.7, closest we're going to get. So we'll move up to 7. And then we can look across and see if we got the numbers we think we should get. So there's 994.1, 13993.8, and a repeatable 20992.0. So this is the new minimum. Now let's go up and see what the range is. So we'll go to the top. And we get 7173.2. So we can see we've got 173.2 kilohertz plus a little bit of the bottom there. We missed a couple, but anyway, we'll call it 173 kilohertz. So that's a lot. And most of these radios will tune 50 or 60 kilohertz, so this is way up there. And now I'll show you, for example, on 15 meters right now with the sweepstakes going on. Let's see. Of my antennas that aren't tuned for 15, that's the best. It's a 30 and 20 meter dipole. So let's go down and see who's here. Also, we're on the, whoops, that's speed, not filter. We're on the wide filter. And that filter is 600, and that's our widest. So I think we're going to take that up to 850, which is the max. Because what I want to know is how much dial do I have to tune when I tune past a station. So if I have 850 hertz, we'll see how much of a dial turn that turns out to be. And you could do some math and say, well, we've got 173 kilohertz in 10 turns. So we kind of know how many turns per kilohertz, or kilohertz per turn, sorry. So it seems possible to tune that. So let's just see. So to remind you where we are, we're at 21,148, so we don't expect much here. Okay, so from where I can hear to where I can't, there's the top of the dial rotation. And it's got 2 stations in there. Maybe that's okay. Anyway, let's see if we get a real station. Okay, here's a real sweepstakes station. So here we'll start. About 3 o'clock. So I think opening the filter up to 850 helped that. It's sharp, but it's tunable with my thumb, so it's not so bad. But you can see if we go to filter 1, which is 200 hertz, this gets much sharper. And it's pretty easy. I guess these are strong, so they're not too easy to miss, but they're harder to tune. So I think that's pretty fair. So I think we know the range. I think I'm going to keep the tuning range, and we'll call that good. So thanks for spending a moment on the bench for some tuning and some coffee.